First we drink the coffee, then we do the things. So I am currently in the middle of last week's challenge, but I'm already thinking about this week's challenge. And the thing that's like daunting the most in my brain is the fact that I don't like to make my own decisions. It just doesn't feel like a week where I feel like making my own decisions. So spinning it over in my brain, feeling a little bit paralyzed with the decisions I have on my TBR this week, I thought, why don't I just trick you into making decisions for me? We're gonna go with that. Hey guys, welcome back to another one. And like I said in my intro, for some reason I have decision paralysis right now. I am in such a reading mood, but every single time I look at a stack of books, the problem I'm having is that so many of them look good that I cannot make a decision on what to go into next. And every time I like make a decision and I'm like, oh, that's going to be my next read, by the time I get to it, I've second guessed myself and I'm like, maybe I'm not in the mood for that. So I'm kind of in the mood for everything right now, but nothing at the same time, if that makes sense. It doesn't. Just go with it. So because of this decision paralysis, I was thinking to myself, what if I just let you guys choose what I read this week, but I want to do it in like a unique and interesting way. We've already done the taking the polls. We've already done the blind emoji that like incorporates with the story. But the problem I have with those is that depending on the book, sometimes it's really obvious. So you're not really randomly choosing. And a lot of the books that I have on my TBR, any of the emojis that I would use would be really obvious, you know? So I decided that I'm going to trick you. So the last week or so, you should have seen things going up, or at least in the last couple of days, I guess, you would have seen posts going up on Instagram asking for you guys to pick emoji like polls and stuff like that. And you would obviously and correctly, honestly, make the assumption that those emojis go along with the book that's underneath them, but they don't. They're going to be totally random and I'm going to fully trick you. So sorry. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 4 books and I am going to color them in, and then I'm going to spin our random emoji wheel to come up with a completely random emoji that has absolutely nothing to do with each of the books, put those emojis on the books, and then ask you to pick, because why not? And we will see what books I trick you into picking for me. This is the content you're only going to get here, guys. Like, hey, I spent the last week lying to you. But thank you. You helped me. So let's get into it. So I think the first thing we have to do is choose which 4 books we're going to put as your options that you don't really know are your options. And I've read a lot of fantasy romance lately, so I think I'm going to switch it up. And I think I'm feeling kind of a more like romance element. So I grabbed 4 off of my TBR. Let's talk about which ones. So I grabbed Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I grabbed Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey. I grabbed Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. And then as kind of like the wild card, I grabbed The Island by Natasha Preston. This is obviously a mystery thriller, but just kind of like a little wild card to see if it comes up. It's also really short, so I could probably fly through it. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. If I were to have just chosen emojis that corresponded to the books, I would have put like the golf emoji and the heart. And you guys, having already watched my Spin Wheel TBR for this month, would have been like, oh, that's Fangirl Down, right? Like you would have known what you were voting for. This way, I'm tricking you and you'll have no idea. So let's go ahead and lay these books out and make our Instagram poll and figure out what we are going to read. Okay, so here are our 4 books all laid out. I'm going to take a photo of them with my phone. It's going to be upside down, but obviously I will flip it. So let's go ahead and take a photo of these to post to Instagram. Okay. Take a couple. There you go. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to color each one of them in, and then we are going to spin the wheel to see what emojis we're going to put over each.
Of the water
Okay, so you officially just saw me color over those photos. That is the image that's going to go up. It looks like this. And now we are going to go to our emoji spin wheel that you guys are used to seeing during our TBRs. And we are going to spin that for each of these boxes to see the random emoji that we are going to put on each. Okay, so for the first, I'm going to see if I can fit both of them up on the screen, so I might just be shoved over here into a corner, but the first book that we are going to choose is going to be for the pink book in the corner, and that is for The Island. So let me screen record. Here is our emoji wheel. Let's see what emoji we are doing for The Island. I hope it's super random. What if one comes up that like oddly fits the book? A boat. Wait, that does kind of oddly fit the book. Okay, so The Island is going to have a boat emoji. Okay, next up we're going to spin for the blue book, which is Terms and Conditions. Okay, what's it going to be? If we get like a roller coaster, this is going to be freakish. What? That's one of, I'm not into the zodiac. That is one of the zodiac symbols. So that is going to be covering terms and conditions. The next one we're going to do is the orange book, which is Fangirl Down. Okay, let's see what that's going to be. The Statue of Liberty emoji. Okay, and the next one is the green one, which is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Is this one gonna fit? So far the boat fits one. A parrot. It does not, but okay, let me go and format this kind of like Instagram post it for you guys to vote, and we will see what ends up winning. And just like that, this is the final product. This is officially going to be the image that's going on Instagram for you guys to vote on. Like I said, literally no significance to these emojis. Totally random, and I am 100% tricking you guys. So let me go ahead and post this on Instagram, and I will see what you guys vote for in the next 24 hours or so. So that is going to be book 1 that we are going to read next week. Let's go ahead and talk about what I'm going to do for book 2 of you guys to vote on. So book 2 is kind of like a mixed bag. The first one was going to be romance because I know I want to read a romance. Book 2 is going to be kind of like, let's bang something else off of my TBR. So let's talk about the random assortment. So the first book I'm going to put on our poll is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I'm dying to get into this one, but also we have to make progress on this TBR. So one of the books is going to be Happy Place. Also on our TBR is Traitor Queen. This is the second book in the Bridge Kingdom series. Obviously on our TBR, all of these books are, but I'm really pumped to see what goes on in this story. So this is going to go on. Then we also have A Curse of Blood and Wolves, smutty fairy loot romantasy edition. So this is going to go on. And last but not least, we have Foxglove King. I know literally nothing about this book, but let's see if you vote for it. Okay, so here is the way that post is going to look. So let me go ahead and just snap a photo. Might as well do it directly on my iPad on this one. Why not? Let me go ahead and snap a photo for us to edit. And now let's go ahead and cover up the colors. so same as before, here is the second photo that's gonna go up. Let's go ahead and grab our emoji wheel. We're gonna fit both of these on the screen, but let's go ahead and let's do the purple book first, which is the Trader Queen. Let's see what emoji that's gonna get. A peace symbol. Oh boy. Maybe kind of works with the peace symbol for the Trader Queen. Okay, let's do, what color is Happy Place on my photo? I kind of forget. But whatever Happy Place was, the next one next to it. Yellow? Was it yellow? I think it was. A needle and thread. Okay, so Happy Place is going to be a needle and thread. Let's go ahead and do blue, which is the Foxglove King. Headphones. Okay, headphones. These so far do not work. And then last but not least, let's do red, which is Curse of Blood and Wolves. I don't really know what you guys are going to choose. I do know you're going to be confused though. A bicyclist. A bicyclist for Curse of Blood and Wolves. Okay, I'm going to go add these to the photos. I'll be back in a second. So this is the final product of that second image that's going to go up on Instagram. I'm shooting for 2 books in the next couple of days, but we may be putting up a third poll sometime later in the week. But for right now, at least we'll know what 2 books I'm starting out next week with. Because like I said, I'm still in the middle of my last challenge. I'm just trying to get ahead of this because the polls stay up for 24 hours. So I want to get kind of a little bit ahead of it so I know what to go into. And there's not like a day long, like, in-between period where I'm not reading anything. So I'm going to go ahead and post these 2 photos up on Instagram and let you guys vote, and we will be back when I know what we're reading next week. Before we even start, yes, I am aware that this is a Christmas sweater. I'm also aware that it is indeed February. However, just because it's 2 months outside of Christmas does not make the sweater any less comfortable and warm and cozy, okay? And I'm not going anywhere. I'm just at home reading for the day. So if I want to wear a Christmas sweater, I'm going to wear a Christmas sweater. And by the way, it's Valentine's Day today. So maybe this means Merry Valentine's Day. But I just know I'm going to have that one person in the comments being like, she's wearing a Christmas sweater and it's February. Or like, oh, this is old footage. It's not. I'm aware it's a Christmas sweater. I'm aware it's February. Let's talk about what won our polls, okay? Okay, so full disclosure, I swear, I have not looked at these polls since I posted them. Whoop, why is my volume on? Since I posted them, so I genuinely have no idea how these turned out. But just to remind you, here are the 2 photos that I posted up on Instagram and asked you guys to pick an emoji, which you guys are going to make the safe assumption have anything to do or correlate with the book. And they don't, because I'm tricky. These don't correlate at all. You're just choosing completely, totally random emojis that have nothing to do with the books. So let me remember how to use Instagram in general, and let's go see what actually won the polls. Okay, I believe the first one I put up was the one with the boat and the parrot. So it had the pink, the blue, the orange, and the green book. So let's go ahead and find that. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. The zodiac symbol won. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other one and see which one won that. And then I'm going to have to cross-reference because I now have such a bad memory that I can't remember which book that was, in which order. So let's go ahead and take a look at the one that had the purple, yellow, blue, and red book that had like the peace symbol, the needle and thread, the headphones, and the bicycle. So let me go ahead and find that poll. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The needle and thread one. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have a zodiac symbol and a needle and thread. Let me go and find the photos of the books that those were, and I'll put those up here so you can see that I'm not fibbing to you. Okay, so here we go. Here are the Instagram photos and the original photos. So let's talk about what won. Okay, so for our zodiac emoji, Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher won. I am so excited for this book. I read The Fine Print, which is book 1 in the Dreamland Billionaire series last month, and I ate that book up. I think I read it in a day. It was such an easy read. I really liked our main female and male character, and I think it was a pretty quick read. Also, Lauren Asher's additions to the books are absolutely beautiful, and I don't know why, but that makes me much more excited for them. There's an even like a little like wedding ring at the top of some pages. Like, they're beautiful additions. So we are going to be reading Terms and Conditions this week. For our first poll, this was our zodiac symbol emoji for no reason. And here are our photos for the second poll, which means we are going to be reading Happy Place this week. I'm so excited. This is secretly the one I wanted to win because I have 2 Emily Henrys on my TBR this month, and this is the one I think I'm anticipating the most. So I am so excited that I get to prioritize reading this one in February. It's just kind of like the perfect month for it, I think. It just feels like a February book for me. So this was the needle and thread emoji for no reason at all. So we have our first 2 books that we are going to read this week. I'll come back to you with some updates. I don't know which I'm going to start first. I guess that's a decision to make in a little while when I actually sit down to read. But I think as long as we get through these, I might actually be throwing up a third poll at the end of the week. I just want to read the romances and then like kind of figure out what genre I'm in the mood for our third poll. So for right now, we are going to be reading Terms and Conditions and Happy Place.
I should slow it down, take it easy. I just keep on staring at my phone. Yeah, my head's spinning, heart's racing, knowing that you could give me a call. I lay awake at night because all I seem to think about is you. I don't know what to do. Do I want this too much? I know I have burned you once before. You can chew me up and spit me out if you don't want to see me anymore. But I just want to try because all that I can think about is you. And I don't know what to do. Can I stay for a while? 'Cause I don't know any better. I should say something clever, but I can't think whatsoever. Because my logic's out the window when I'm sitting next to you. Go ahead and break my heart if you want to, but I'll stay for a while if that's okay with you. Am I a crazy person, maniac? 'Cause I just wanna jump right in with you. And I don't care about the consequences. I think you know that too. Just give me one more try, and I promise I will never let you down. 'Cause you're all that I see now.
It is officially a couple days later, and I have been reading for a couple of different projects, but I haven't been the greatest about updating. So over the past few days, I actually did do sprints. It was actually through kind of like a weird comedic series of events. I was supposed to be on sprints, 24-hour sprints, not for the full 24 hours. They were doing the full 24 hours. I'm not quite that ambitious yet. But Kaylani was doing sprints for 24 hours over on her channel. I think she did it with Karina and Dana. I don't know if they stayed on the whole time. I think they might have. And I was supposed to be just popping on. And I was like, no problem. I'll be there. Don't worry about it. I'll be coming back from a basketball game, but I'll be on. And our basketball tournament actually ended up running over, and I missed my time slot that I could pop on for sprints. And I was so bummed, not only because obviously like you feel like you're letting people down. They're totally cool. They're the sweetest people ever. They didn't make me feel that way at all. That's just pressure I put on myself. But I actually really was looking forward to the sprints because I desperately need them. I'm incredibly busy this month, and I actually have like a lot of projects going on behind the scenes. So prioritizing time to finish my reading, not only for videos, but like on my general TBR, has been a bit overwhelming, if I'm being honest with you. And I desperately was looking forward to and kind of like depending, to be completely honest, on sprints to catch me up to my reading. And when I couldn't get on that sprint, I was so bummed and was like, oh my gosh, that was so much productivity wasted. And I had put a post up on Instagram saying, I'm super bummed that I can't make it there today. Our basketball tournament ran over. I'm not even home yet. And one of my amazing subscribers, Danny, was like, don't pressure yourself, just hop on your own sprints, which like, amazing idea. So I did. And I got on sprints and I ended up being on for 6 hours with all of you. And if you guys were on, thank you so much. Not only for being productive with me and for reading with me and making me feel like I'm not reading alone, but for also inspiring me to get my reading done and for being so kind. I had so much fun hanging out with you all, and I hope that it translates the way I want it to translate and the vibe translates the way I want it to come across. I want you guys to always feel like if you're in a place in your life where you love reading and you don't necessarily have like a bestie that reads or someone who shares your interests, you could always come to me and chat on sprints or in my Instagram messages, and I always want it to come across like we're reading together. You know what I'm saying? Or like you have a bestie that you could discuss books with, because I do have a select few friends who read, but I also have a majority of people in my life that don't really get my obsession with it. And they have obsessions with other things, and I love that for them, you know, like gaming or crocheting or coloring or things like that, and things that I'm just not good at or that I haven't developed an interest in yet. It's just not a like interest. You know what I'm saying? So I love having all of you to be able to hop onto sprints and talk about and feel like we're reading together. And long story short, between sprints and binge reading today, I have finished Terms and Conditions, and I'm giving this a 4.25 stars. I really enjoyed my time with this, and I think I'm learning that I really like Lauren Asher's writing in general. It's simple and not overcomplicated and not pretentious, but packs such a punch as far as like the storyline and the character development and really making you emotionally care about these characters and being invested in their problems and being invested in their relationships. And I love the Dreamland world, which should not come as across like as a shock to anyone, because I am a Disney adult and I am a Disney mom. So putting me in a book that is centered on a theme park, Disney World, Dreamland, quote unquote, kind of like a Disney World knockoff, it's not entirely mind-blowing that I'm obsessed with the world and that I would desperately want to go to Dreamland. It's like one of those worlds that I would love to see, similarly to like, I think everyone who's read ACOTAR would love to see the Night Court. I would love to see Dreamland. So I loved this. If you don't know what this is about, this is following the second brother in the Dreamland Billionaire series. The Fine Print, which is book 1, followed Rowan, the first brother. Terms and Conditions follows Declan. Hasn't been on all morning, but the furnace has to run because the battle continues. But this follows the second brother, Declan. And in order to inherit his grandfather's theme park and to become the CEO from his father, he needs to get married and have a child. That was what was in the will as his term and condition to becoming the CEO. And it's about what he has to do to find an arranged marriage. Okay, confirmed. This is on the back, so it's not a spoiler. It says, my grandfather's inheritance clause. Fulfilling his dying wish of getting married and having an heir seemed impossible until my assistant volunteered for the job. So yes, it is not a spoiler. His assistant Iris says, after a couple of failed like setup attempts to set him up into a fake marriage, she's like, you know what? You're impossible. Why don't I just do it? I've known you for years. We can make this a business arrangement and we can move on from there. And it proceeds, obviously. I'm not going to say anything more because I don't want to give out spoilers, but if you are looking for a really simple, really unpretentious writing style with a really adorable, grumpy sunshine, like all of her men so far, Rowan and Declan, are kind of like grumpy and the female main characters win them over slowly, look into the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher's because it's really good. And next up, you already know where I'm going. Happy Place by Emily Henry is going to be our second book for this video. I actually have a ton to do right now, not only for work, but around the house. So I am going to throw this on my headphones and listen to it on Everand, which is so convenient because imagine my surprise when I get an email from Everand saying that they had actually seen me speak about how much I have loved audiobooks on their service for the last couple of months and asked if I would like to partner with them. So let's talk about it. So if you don't know what Everand is an audiobook service that has hundreds, if not thousands, of audiobooks on it available for you to rent and listen to at any time. My biggest challenge in life is balancing my passion for reading with my passion for my family and balancing my schedule while also finishing books. And audiobooks have become an invaluable part of that because it allows me to be productive while I'm also reading. The thing about audiobook options is, like, if you don't know where to start, you don't know where to start. You know what I'm saying? And when you're looking at your options, it's how many books do they offer? How much is it going to cost me per month? And how many books can I actually listen to? I do also have an Audible subscription, but I have to say this, Audible is an expensive option as far as audiobooks, in my very humble opinion. They have a great selection. Nobody's lying about that. However, it is $14.95 a month, and that only gets you access to one premium title. But I had become completely addicted to audiobooks and how productive it made me when I was able to finish books while I was loading my dishwasher, re-answering my emails, doing my laundry, sitting in the car, driving my kids around to their practices. And I just was looking for a more affordable option without sacrificing the selection of books. And that is when I found Everand. Everand is a subscription service that allows you access to millions of audiobooks and ebooks for the low cost of $17.99 per month. And that $17.99 per month gets you access to 3 unlocks on any audiobook and ebook on their entire website. And everyone gets access to a free 30-day trial of Everand when you sign up for the first time. So there's no risk associated with signing up at this link, because if you don't like it, don't continue, you know? So when I was basically doing the math between $14.95 a month for Audible for 1 book a month, as opposed to $17.99 a month for 3 audiobooks a month, Everand was kind of a no-brainer for me, which is why I was so excited to receive an email last week from Everand saying that they had seen me speak about how much they loved their site and asked if I would like to affiliate with them. So I am now a proud Everand affiliate. So if you use my affiliate link here, how crazy is that? I'm so excited. You will not only get a 30-day free trial of Everand, but I will make a small commission and you will be helping to support this channel. So thank you, Everand, for partnering with me. I am so excited to be working with you. And without further ado, let's use one of my unlocks to listen to Happy Place. I wanted to give you guys a quick look around the Everand app because it is so convenient. So you would go to Everand on your Apple or Android device and download the Everand app. And once it opens, you are free to browse either their audiobooks or their ebook options. As you can see, there's all the new releases that you could possibly be looking for, as well as a ton of indie fantasy and indie romance. They have nonfiction best-selling books, current New York Times bestsellers, and titles that are actually exclusive to Everand. So let's go ahead and find Happy Place on audiobook. Just like this, go to our audiobook option. And just like that, here is Happy Place. I am going to continue, unlock my title, and I am good to start listening to Happy Place on audio now on Everand. How easy was that? I love this app. It's so convenient, and this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day.
In the corner of the crowded room, your eyes meet mine. Conversations fill the air.
Wow, I just woke up and I have bedhead times 1,000. This is what happens when you sleep on your hair wet at night. But I wanted to update you about my reading yesterday. I did get 55% of the way through Happy Place yesterday. I don't know what it is about Emily Henry's writing, but I blow through it. Like, I fly through her books. So for my visual learners, I read this and I have this part left. I would say that I'm hoping I will finish this today. I think that's always the goal. I actually do have a decent amount of work I have to get done today, and it's not home office work, it's like out on the road work. So I don't know how much I'll actually be reading. I do have this on my Everand audio, so hopefully I will be able to play it in the car a little bit between like phone calls, and I have a decent amount of actual like field work to do today. So I'm going to get that done. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm also a real estate agent, so I'm out and about with clients today, and I have a closing and I have a bunch of other things I need to do. I need to go to an attorney's office and pick up a check. So I'm very kind of all over the place today. Hopefully I'm going to make some progress in this, but who knows? The good news is 55% of the way through the book, I feel pretty confident that I can discuss what this book is about. But much like Emily Henry's other most recent release, Funny Story, Emily Henry really does do a great job of interweaving a lot of different, very multi-interested characters into a story. So sometimes it's a little hard to discuss because there are so many characters and they're all interconnected in multiple different ways. I'm going to do my best. So this book follows our main female character, Harriet, aka Harry, aka Hare, depending on which character is talking about her. But she ends up forming, I think what the strength of this book is really the friend group, which has become family. It's about this group of friends who has lived together throughout, I think they met in high school, and then they decided to kind of move in together into an off-campus apartment in college, and then go like even into grad school, medical school, law school, depending on the character. Our main female character, Harriet, went to med school and she is a surgeon. But the crux of this book is how close their friend group really is. So Harriet moves into an off-campus with their friends Cleo and Sabrina, and then the man who actually owns the off-campus apartment was named Parth, and they become a family, the four of them, and they have an agreement within their family group, or their friend group, I guess I should say, that they don't date their friends or people who know their friends. Well, Sabrina and Parth's friend Wynne end up meeting after she comes home from a study abroad program in London and promptly break the rule because they end up having this almost like magnetism to each other. They're intrigued by each other. They're attracted to each other, but it's not just a physical attraction. I really think it's like bone deep, like just incredibly intrigued by each other's wit and intelligence and personalities. And I think she does a great job at showing that they fill in the holes where the other one lacks personality-wise or ambition-wise or character-wise, even so far as their interests. So I don't know if I'm describing it well, but it really is just a situation where once they meet to become intrigued by one another, there's really no question that they need each other in each other's lives. So every single year they take a friend trip to Sabrina's family house in Knott's Harbor, Maine. Sabrina is from a wealthier family, and this home has been described as pretty magnificent, and it's something that they do every year and look forward to. They have traditions on this vacation that they always do. They have activities that they always accomplish, and they've always gone as a friend group throughout college and grad school. So you can imagine that this trip is something that really does form one of the main points of their friendship. So 10 years in, Wynne and Harriet have been married for 10 years. Sabrina and Parth are now together, and Cleo now has a girlfriend named Kimmy who is kind of integrated into their group. So now they're a little six-some. There's Cleo and Kimmy, Parth and Sabrina, and Wynne and Harriet. It is now come time for their trip, their annual trip to Knott's Harbor, which obviously they're excited for, except for the fact that Harriet and Wynne have broken up. They were in a long-distance relationship because Harriet was a doctor in San Francisco and Wynne has been taking care of his mother at their home in Montana. And I think, I haven't gotten to this point yet, but what I'm assuming is that that long-distance relationship really did take a toll on their marriage. And months prior, I believe they said it's been about 10 months, they have been separated. However, they didn't tell anyone else in their friend group or their families, so no one really knows that they're separated. And at first, when I started reading that, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? But the more you read, I think the more you understand that their dynamic was very much focused on each other, and they just couldn't. I think they're both just so heartbroken and confused that they just don't really know how to talk about it. And I think there's so much open-ended lack of closure between them that they wouldn't even know where to start talking to anybody else, because how could I give you answers if I don't know myself? So here they are in a situation where they're supposed to be going on this trip with their friend group and nobody knows that they're not together. And the story proceeds from there. So we are now on our vacation. There's been a couple of things that have happened within the friend group, but no one knows that Wynn and Harriet are no longer together. It is so good. Like I said before, Emily Henry is a master of weaving relationships. And I'm not even talking about romantic relationships. I just mean like interpersonal relationships. Like this girl can write stories between people so well. And I'm so invested in these characters. I'm absolutely loving this. Emily Henry so far has never missed for me. I've loved Beach Read is my ultimate favorite. I've loved Book Lovers and I loved Funny Story. And this is kind of going on the same trajectory for me. We will see how it ends because I could see where this storyline could kind of go off course, but I trust in Emily Henry that it won't.
Cole's dancing.
Of course he is.
Cole's dancing.
I just finished Happy Place and Emily Henry just knows what she's doing. She just knows what she's doing. She always hits for me. This is a 4.5 stars. Now, is this my favorite Emily Henry book? No, this did not beat Beach Read. And I think it's probably like right on the same level, if not maybe like a smidge below Funny Story, because I really love Funny Story. But Wynn Connor, the main male character in in Happy Place, I should say, is Emily Henry's like pinnacle of work. He's right up there with Gus. And that's saying a lot for me because I love me some Gus from Beach Read. So this book is incredible. Emily Henry is a mastress of female relationships and friendships, but like found family. I can't describe it. She does it in a way that no other author is physically capable of doing it. She can write friendship and found family unlike any other author I've found to date. I'm not saying no one in the world. Maybe I'll find someone who compares, but so far in my reading journey, I have not found anyone who can write a friend group like Emily Henry can write. And her banter is so fantastically and intelligently written, but they can cover so much substance in their conversations amidst bantering. And that's such a hard balance to hit because sometimes I feel like you're supposed to be having a serious conversation, but the little witty banter is almost like impeding getting to the substance of the serious conversation. And then conversely, sometimes the characters have had zero serious conversations. It's all been like sniping back and forth. And you're like, guys, like your relationship seems so surface because you never talk about anything seriously. Emily Henry has found a perfect balance between witty, intelligent banter and very deep, important, full of substance conversations, if I'm saying that properly. This book is so good. Emily Henry is one of my favorite authors to date, and she is an auto-buy author for me. I have yet to read something by Emily Henry that I didn't absolutely love and come away just like in awe of her storytelling and in awe of her character work. She really is just such an impressive author. So 4.5 stars for Happy Place. It is going to go right up there with my incredible, amazing, loved it Emily Henry books. And now we have come to the end of the week. And I remember saying that I might do a third poll and like surprise you guys. However, I think I've made the executive decision that I am not going to do that. I usually try to read at least 3 books a week per video, but this week got away from me a little bit, and I probably could start and finish a book today if I really wanted to like buckle down and get it done. But I don't want to rush through a book. And honestly, I have fallen about 4 days behind in my Homey and Homely book club's read of Immortal Dark. So I think I have made the executive decision to focus on finishing Immortal Dark for the rest of the day today, which I'm going to do off camera because obviously we discuss it in our book club, which as always, is completely free and linked below. It's a Fable group. I believe there's like almost 370, I think, amazing people that have joined this club, and we pick a book every single month together and read it, and we discuss it chapter by chapter. And I am a couple chapters behind where I wanted to be. So instead of picking up and rushing through a third book, I'm just going to really prioritize Immortal Dark for the rest of the day today. So that is it for this video. Let's do a recap of what we read really quickly. So I was tricky this week and tricked you all and somehow tricked you into picking two fantastic books for the week. The first one was Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. I'm loving my experience with the Dreamland Billionaire series. It's so good. And Lauren Asher's writing is so simple. If you haven't read this, pick it up. It's a really great like palette cleanser between more serious books or like between really dense like fantasy books. I find that if I read a ton of fantasy back to back or a ton, maybe I should say like a ton of the same genre back to back, I kind of burn myself out and I need something to cleanse my palate. And I found that Lauren Asher is a really good author for that because it's nothing that you have to hyper focus on too intensely. And this is the same. It is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. It's Declan's story and it's really good. And then, of course, we read Happy Place by Emily Henry, one of my auto-buy authors, and gave this a 4.5 stars. I just talked about my thoughts about this, so I'm not going to go into it anymore. But if you have not picked up Emily Henry, specifically Beach Read, shameless plug because it's my favorite, please just read her synopses of her books and kind of consider which one calls to you the most. And I can almost guarantee that you're going to love it. She kind of toes the line between like literary fiction and romance, I guess. I don't know. She's like right on the cusp of both. She writes some of the best romances, the best mature romances, I think, but also her writing is flowery and lyrical, but in an unpretentious, condescending way. And she does touch on a lot of topics in her characters' lives that could push her a little bit into literary fiction for me. Comment below if you agree with me there, but one of my favorite authors, this was amazing. And then, not going to get into it too much, but I have been reading Immortal Dark. I think I'm about 55-60% of the way through it with the book club, and I'm liking this so far. This is Tigist Gurma's debut novel, and it's a dark academia vampire fantasy book. I am liking it. I am, like I said, 55 to 60% of the way through the book, if you could see it. And I have hit that section of the book that I've talked about in a lot of my videos where like sometimes I hit these sections in the middle that just get a little bit sloggy and start losing me just slightly. It's like that middle chunk that just, I wonder if it has to be there. But sometimes authors surprise me and it all comes around at the end and you go, so it was necessary. That didn't need to be there. But admittedly, I am kind of in the middle slog of this book. So I'm hoping my reading today gets me through it and I understand why it's there. If not, my criticism of this will be that there's a little bit of slog in the middle. But given that it's Tigist's debut novel, I will give her some grace and flexibility there, as I do with all of my debut authors. So overall, I think right now this is sitting at like a 3.5, 3.75 for me. And there you have it, guys. There's our reads for the week. I'm sorry I tricked you. I hope you don't feel too abandoned, but I hope you had just as much fun watching me read these books as I had reading them. So if you have stuck around the entire time, comment the sun emoji for Knott's Harbor, Maine, and the fun little summery adventures that our characters get up to in Happy Place. And then do all the things that you are so professional at doing. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.